What's up, guys and gals, and apologies for how late this chapter review is. I honestly missed this one. I'd love to blame this on my computer issues recently in the late August into September here, but I'll be frank with you on this one. I missed when this chapter dropped and then just forgot about it. To be perfectly honest with you, this one is not a computer issue. Though I'm going to be having to re-record a few files just to see, or some reviews just to see if that's going to fix some of the issues I've been having. This was not one of them, so unfortunately I can't pin the blame on this old machine here. But what we can do is talk about it right now, and apparently 108 hasn't dropped, so I'm still not behind technically. And we love our technicalities, don't we? Speaking of technicalities, this chapter opens up with an issue that I've brought up ever since round 6. And that is, who's going to be left out? Or is it going to be the other option of we're not going to get to every single round and there's going to be a big free-for-all with returning fighters and characters? Or is it something completely different? You let me know down in the comment section down below as we continue reading this chapter. But fact of the matter is that Odin is coming out, or Pseudo-Odin is coming out next round. Confirmed this chapter. And Brunhilde is deciding the one man who can defeat Odin. And it's not Nostradamus, though we're going to have to wait to see his abilities because I'm a little skeptical. And honestly, if Odin is at this point, whoever she sends out is going to lose. Narratively speaking, they almost have to lose because not only do you defeat your main bad guy, quote unquote, you also, then humanity wins and Ragnarok is over. There's a few problems with this narratively. Number one, then the primordial gods will not be released unless it's one of those upon his death, sword found Nostradamus, and Nostradamus was the traitor the entire time, or Siegfried still ends up getting it and releasing the demons of everything and stuff. You know what I mean? Unless we do some type of, but this was the plan all along for him to die in the arena and blah, 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 and then release the primordial gods, or the Graham sword, or the other artifacts latch onto other characters, or something to this effect. Unless we have some crazy, not explained plot device happen, whatever human goes up has to lose. So in this case, it's Kintoki, who's got a really cool design. He's got a really cool axe. And I am just disappointed the fact that there's just too many reasons stacked against him. So unless we're going red herring, unless we're going to really flip this on its head, and though it's possible they could write themselves out of this corner where Odin loses and the story still continues and Ragnarok still goes on, fact of the matter is one of the arguments for why some of these rounds have narratively gone the way they've gone is that, or the argument that's been presented to me round after round and now year after year, has been nobody wants to say, okay, we know what the lists are, and no one wants to see their favorite human fighter potentially, or their most anticipated god or whatever, get cucked and not be part of the fight. Right? So we have to see every round. That's the logic. Fair enough logic. Alright. But the tournament arc, and this is more of a tournament manga obviously, but the tournament arc, popularized and basically made a staple of by Akira Toriyama, the man himself interrupted his own tournament arc in the original run of Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z. So, I'm just saying, I'm thinking here that while we're still going to be able to, because we don't get Rasputin, you know what I mean? That's the technicality I was talking about. We still don't see Rasputin. We get a shot of a silhouette of course, you never see the eyes, and a sort of a bearded man. Think the Hohenheim picture in Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Until we actually see the man, we don't get to see the full shot for a long time. Think that sort of shot, right? So Rasputin is still on this list and still highly anticipated to fight. Now, obviously, this chapter basically is just set up, and it's nothing too interesting, really. Odin just Brunhilde reaffirms that, yes, I am doing this for love, and I'm going to kill you and get my lover back. And Odin's like, ha ha ha, no, he's my vessel, and I'm going to release the primordial gods and just end everything. I'm going to end Helheim, I'm going to end Niflheim, I'm going to end, your Mama Hein. I'm going to end everything. And why? Because I'm nuts. He's after the end of everything, and it's like, okay, all right, so he's just batshit insane, and he just wants to end everything. Now, we can assume that this is, of course, the influence more so of the artifacts within him, that the Graham Sword and all the other 3 artifacts, sort of made his mind not so great. He's got this one focused goal, and I'm sure that the primordial gods have more of an idea or more of a plan than just ending everything, because, end everything to start again, maybe? Okay, but just to end everything because, all right. Weird motivation, but it is what it is. So they have their back and forth, and she ends up, of course, choosing Kintoki. Buddha knows this, and we get a second scene for the other half of the chapter showcasing Buddha meeting up with Kintoki. Apparently, they have bouts in different, Kintoki wins some, Buddha wins some, sort of idea. They have different bouts with a different matchup every time. This time it's a style of sumo or whatever, but obviously this is probably down to card games, a children's card game, and, probably other silly things, like they're not all, fighting prowess competitions. They have different duels and different bouts, always picking a different thing to play each other against. Like, you sunk my battleship, Maybe they play Battleship. Who knows? But fact of the matter is that this chapter is pretty straightforward in that regard. We still don't see Rasputin, and it's setting ourselves up for the obvious thing is that Odin has to win this fight, and Kintoki this is going to go. He might give Odin a run for his money. It might be a really cool fight, but narratively speaking, Odin has to win for a number of reasons. Because he's the main bad guy, because Ragnarok ends, because he's Odin, because, there's too many variables. Plus, it would end it 1 round short if we're not going to do the interrupter clause of this tournament, and the final part of Record of Ragnarok is just straight up, yay, we saved humanity, the gods accept it, end of manga. Unless we don't do something special at the end of the tournament, and it doesn't end on the final round, then, that's what I'm saying. The odds are very heavily stacked against that this is a very quote-unquote fixed round. So I'm hoping that they do surprise us here at the end of the fight, at the end of the round. Something interrupts them, what have you. Just something different. That's all I'm asking for, right? I'm just asking for something to change up what is narratively and on paper has 3 to 4 major, these aren't minor points, these are major points in Odin's favor, because otherwise, once again, it ends the manga early, you don't get to see Rasputin fight, the main bad guy dies, and the setup for the primordial gods and all this stuff goes nowhere. You don't see Nostradamus fight. You don't see another potential god fight. You don't see Anubis fight and stuff, even though Anubis is not very well liked in the community due to the design and the personality. I would still say some people would be upset by this, So, yeah. What do you guys think, though? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I didn't mean to miss this chapter once again. And when I sent out the notice on YouTube a couple days ago where I said, listen, I'm having computer problems, rendering and stuff, reviews are made, they just don't seem to want to render. I am doing some re-recording here today to hopefully fix whatever's wrong with some of the video files and what have you. I'm not sure. I think it's just the computer's old, but I'm not sure. Either way, this was not one of them, unfortunately. This is not one that was missed. This was missed purely, just honestly. This one I just happened to miss when it was released, and because I don't have very many notifications on my phone and stuff like that, so some things do fall through the cracks. This chapter happened to be one of them. Thankfully, not a major chapter, not a lot going on. Regurgitating the same shit that we knew, that Kintoki was likely the one to fight against Odin, and because people were saying that was the case, here it is. And that Kintoki and Buddha are chill with each other, I guess. You know, but very straightforward chapter, setting ourselves up for the next round. So, is what it is. Not a bad chapter by any stretch, but kind of short and not a whole lot going on. So thankfully, if that's the chapter I'm going to miss, that's the chapter I'm going to miss. And the 108 should be out relatively soon, I would think, considering apparently this dropped like the last week of August, and we're in the middle of September at this point. So anyways, hopefully I can fix that rendering issue, and this one comes up without a hitch, and we can get this one out this week as well. So thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, let me know how you think this round is going to go. Will it, A, just go as it will, and we're going to end the manga early? B, is it going to, the fight is going to get interrupted, and both combatants are going to survive, and we're going to get into the final stages? Or, C, does Odin actually lose here, Or D, what, multiple choice, I'm A, B, C. D, what's your guys' theory? There's multiple ways this could go. It just seemingly is all in Odin winning's favor, unless we get the fightus interruptus, as it were. So, let me know what your guys' theories are, once again, down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys back here next time. Hopefully, more on time for Chapter 108 of Record of Ragnarok. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Have a good one. Sayonara.